What's up, gamers? This is another episode of Heroes Charge. I actually, this is my second take on recording because I started to record and then I got a phone call for some crazy reason because people actually like to talk to me for some reason. And now I ended up losing half my recording. So I'm doing this again. So unfortunately, you're not going to actually physically see me do certain things. I'm just going to be explaining what I did the first take. So then, I'm not used to people calling me early in the morning. This is a little weird. Anyway, so basically, what I did was I got the new Hot Cell Hero, and it took me only 5 tries to get it. Now, the first time I did it was yesterday when I had my freebie, and then today when I tried to do my first recording, I basically bought 4 more times, so I only spent about 1,600 gems, and boom, I was able to get them. It was pretty nice. So let's take a look at who this person is. All right, and that person's name is boom, the Wind Priest. All right, so let's take a look at him, see how he is. All right, so basically, he can call forth his ultimate magic to deal destructive damage for multiple times. So basically, he does like a barrage of like damage. So that's gonna be, probably gonna hurt someone or a couple of someone's. He also releases wind arrows to deal basic damage and extra damage based on his intellect. So basically, what that means is he has his set damage, but if he gets boosted, with his intellect, he does a more additional damage based on whatever that stat is. So if you have people that can boost intellect, I mean, basically he goes with that kind of a team. He causes a concussive blast to an enemy and does small area damage, slowing enemies down. So basically, what happens is he probably, does some kind of attack, maybe with arrows or something that um, has about 2 or 3 people in the middle or something, and then they become slowed for a bit. So that's pretty cool. Basically, he reminds me of Shadow Leaf because Shadow Leaf also has the ability to slow people down. So yeah, and then of course he silences an enemy and also reduces his magic resistance. So that's decent. You know what I mean? Keeps somebody from doing really any ultimates and make it easier to kill him. Basically, just to introduce him, he's a backline intellect hero who can deal magic damage and silence the enemy. I do like their little synopsis; kind of gives you an idea of how you should run him. He does have the emblem here that basically says that he is of the. It won't stay. Basically, he can fly. Is what this is. It's just for some reason not cooperating. There you go. This hero can fly. So the fact that we actually have another flyer is pretty cool. This is another hero you can use if you're doing the Outland Portal, the Dragon. So that'll be good to kind of use if you're having trouble dealing with it and you want to use the other heroes that fly. I'm getting my freebie for the day. Um, I also, during my first recording, had instructed people how to get into the heroes camp. Basically, what I did was, as you can tell, I just started this because my thing's been up for about 10 minutes now. Um, I claimed my reward. I actually got my free war protection, and I also spent about 60 million in gold. Sorry, I want to go to the marketplace. I spent 60 million in gold and boosted up my lumber as much as I could. As you can tell, it says you can redeem zero of 70 more times today. Basically, what I'm going to do is I'm going to be trying to push to go to Warhol level 6. The plan is I've already bought my freebie for the protection. In about close to 8 hours, I'm going to use gems to get more protection. I'm going to go to my furnace, wherever it's at. I'm going to use whatever resources I have to push these numbers a bit higher. And then tomorrow, when I am able to, waste more gold, I'm going to go back to the marketplace, spend more gold to get more of whatever items I need at the time, and which will probably be the lumber or ore, and then pretty much just go from there. And just so you know, if you want to get level 6, you need about 825k of the lumber and ore and 165k of the mercury, which is doable. I think the Mercury for me at least has always been the easy part. Mercury or ore. So that's kind of the plan here. If you don't want to have to fight and grind, just kind of keep up with your Warhol, keep redeeming it every 8 hours. It might cost you some gems, but it's good in the long run because if you don't, if it's not protected, you're going to lose everything very quickly. So just keep that in mind. Um, and that's pretty much it as far as how to get that boosted. Once I get the Warhol up, I'm probably going to do the vault, followed by the furnace, probably the training ground, so on and so forth. Once I have everything up that I need. All right, so I actually didn't notice this until one of our guild mates posted this on our group Facebook page for our, the guild. Apparently, I didn't even notice this happened. I apparently am the top 10 damage for the chapter 14 dragon boss. I didn't even know that. Let me see if I'm still there. If I'm not still there, then it's going to be kind of awkward. Oh, I'll just do it like this. There we go. And then I'll just backtrack. All right. Because it wants to be a pain for some reason. All right, there we go. So look at the ranking, and if you scroll all the way to the bottom, yep, there I am. Big MCC for devotion. I actually made the top 10. I don't even know when this happened. I'm going to be honest. I mean, it was recent because Divine Knight's in there. But it looks like I actually made the charts on there, and I didn't even notice. And like I said, I just saw like a Facebook indicator that someone had tagged me in something, and boom, it was literally a picture of this, and it was kind of a cool boost, morale boost for the guild. It's like, hey, we're putting ourselves on the map. I know I showed in a previous video that I have done world records before, but this is the one I actually didn't even notice that I had, so that's pretty cool. Um, Another thing I kind of want to show off is some a really interesting arena fight that I had that I actually lost, and the reason I don't mind showing off this loss is because it was a really interesting team. So I think it was someone who knocked me down a few pegs, and yes, I've been fighting a lot lately, as you can tell. Um, the struggle to get in the top 200 is real. I'm only actually 300 and something now because I just lost a while ago, or 7 hours ago, apparently while I was asleep. All right, so check out this team right here. We're gonna replay it. I think this is the one. Let the best fighter win, or win again. Battle of this life until this life ends, and if your life ends, then it starts to decay. Make one of my street soldiers from Inspace. All right, so technically he's running the new guy, was it Windmaster? I forgot already. No, I forgot his name. Wind Priest. He's running Wind Priest, who actually I think he just took out Turtle Fighter. Holy crap! Him and was either him or the beast in the back. But check out, I'm getting beat really quickly. I mean, this is like a 32-second fight. I have not lost this bad in arena in a very long time. But look at that. This is a team that I've never ever seen before. Very, very unique. So this is Depth's Voice, who's the tank here. And I'm actually going to talk about tanks, so it's a good thing that I showed this to you. It's actually kind of important now. So there's Depth's Voice, the Ghost Knight, the new guy, Wind Priest, Sorceress, and then Thunder Beast, I think his name is. We'll look him up. But yeah, look at that. It looks like both Sorceress and Thunder Beast dealt really good damage. Like I said, took Turtle Fight out like in the very beginning. Like he didn't even have a chance to distract him. And then pretty much everybody, the whole team fell right after that. So here's the idea I think that we have here. So of course, the one in the middle is supporting and stopping people from doing things. Sorceress and Thunder Beast are doing all the damage. Ghost Knight is basically doing some controlling, and then Depth's Voice is also uh, more or less putting them to sleep, keeping people from moving, things like that. A really solid team, and the reason this is a solid team is because he's using a tank that's not relying on healing. Because I mentioned this too. As soon as Divine Knight came out, I made the claim that the heavy defense teams are not going to work anymore, and that's been the case. And I've shown you many fights where I've decimated defense teams because Divine Knight is a beast. But yeah, um, really interesting team. From basically one of the top three guilds, so that's pretty. I guess it's nice to lose to one of the best. We'll see if we get some of my ranking back, and then we'll talk about tanks. 'Cause that's really the subject I want to go over today, or good tanks for the meta. Um, this is a team that I don't think I can win against. That's just so much damage, so much control, a little bit of RNG. Like it's just a lot, and of course it's top 100. So I've been in the top 100 before, but it's been a long time. This is a team that I think I can beat. Um, I don't know. There's something about this team that I don't really think Admiral's that good as a tank, but maybe she's good now. I mean, this is level 103. Oh, yeah, I might be able to beat this team then. I don't know. I might try it. Yeah, we're gonna try it. Now, typically against Ninja Assassin, you want to use someone like either Lightbringer or a Witch, but unfortunately, mine are only red plus ones, so I have to be a little consistent and use people that are going to do the damage. Notice he's not running Turtle Fighter, so I can get away with running Depths, not Depths, wait, Vengeance Spirit, which I think I'm going to do. And I can also run Griffin. So this is going to be a bit weird. I'm wondering if I should just leave the team as is, though. So this isn't really bad either. I mean, the power is lower, but oof. Let me think here. Their damage output is going to be. Mm. Well, I'll put it to you this way. If I run Turtle Fighter, I might have a bit of a hard time because Imperial Execution is actually good against Turtle Fighter. And so is Fallen Dominion and Queen of Curse. So, yeah. Alright, we're going to take out Turtle Fighter for this guy just to get a little bit more defense here. Um, and then we're going to keep them from healing with Divine Knight. Sorceress is really good on that damage, but I'm wondering. But I really, really deep down inside want to run Vengeance Spirit. Although Ninja Assassin would be good, except for I think Imperial Executioner would probably take him out. So I'll probably take him out for Vengeance Spirit. And I really, really want to run Griffin, but I can't think of anyone to take out other than either Sorceress or Puppet Master. But I really don't want to take either one of those out. Mm, that's a toughie. I'm not gonna lie. These are choices you have to make when you're fighting an arena. I was confident at first, and now I'm like, is this really gonna work? But we'll see. Um, I think this might be it because I like Griffin, but maybe he's just not not what I want right now. Let's see what happens. All right, so okay, Imperial Executioner kept Divine Knight from doing damage on him in the beginning. Well, Sorcerer's about to die, but so is Ninja Assassin. Oh wow, that was actually a lot easier than I thought. Huh. So, okay, Sorcerer's dealt over 200k damage. Ninja Assassin ended up not killing her, which is great. Um, yeah, he didn't really do much. But I guess part of it's because he's level 103, so he probably doesn't have access to the equipment that I get at 104. So I think that's really where the big difference was. Usually, I used to preach about how level didn't matter, but it does matter in one main instance, and that's for equipment. So when you can upgrade your equipment, that's when having a level adjustment is a big deal. But if the equipment's the same, the level doesn't matter. It's more about the team. All right. Do I want to keep going? Well, we'll come back to this. Let's talk about tanks, and then if the video is gone for long enough, I'll do one more. Got my freebie. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and talk about tanks. So because defensive teams, as far as healing, are not going to be in the meta anymore, thanks to, and not just to my dear friend Divine Knight, but I mean, there are just other teams in general that are okay against defense teams as well. It's just Divine Knight just helps you tear them to shreds without any thought. Recommended tanks nowadays, first and foremost, Turtle Fighter. He is going to be great distraction, more or less. Just keep in mind that if you're opponent is running Imperial Executioner, you might have a bit of an issue. If they're running Fallen Dominion, he might be able to take him out pretty quick too. Um, so, but yeah, I mean, Turtle Fire is still a beast. He basically gets in the back line, splits up their attacks, and anytime you can split up your enemy's attacks, that's a big advantage to you. So he's pretty much up there. Divine Knight, for obvious reasons, he prevents healing. That's the big thing, and he can deal some damage. And I almost got him maxed out. So I mean, eventually be able to tank the way I want him to and everything. So yeah, Divine Knight, really good tank. And I'm saying tank, not frontline fighter, because I mean Divine Knight can fight, Turtle Fighter can kind of fight, but they're there more for the tanking than anything else. Um, I would also say that Dwarf Warrior, probably, arguably the best, or one of the best, I'll just say. Um, I don't have him at Red 2 yet because I'm just focusing on others. And yes, I did see your comment that I didn't really need to, get all my people up to Red 2. It's just that it takes a while. And I'm only willing to spend 800 stamina per day. I'm not going to go above and beyond just to push these people up faster. Like, I'm not doing that. But yeah, the thing about Dwarf Warrior that's so good is he's good at basically forcing your opponents to kind of be pushed back a bit in the very beginning. And if you're running Sorceress to push them back even further, that helps all of your other control people to do all their debilitating abilities, and you can just beat them down. And Dwarf Warrior can do some damage. He doesn't rely on healing, which is the big thing. I mean, he can heal, I believe, but he doesn't depend on it at all. He's more like bash, 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 and he tanks like a champ. So you definitely want to consider him as one of your tanks. Uh, Depth's voice, who we just saw. What I like about Depth's voice is really her ultimate, where she puts everybody to sleep. That's going to help a lot. Maybe, whether it's defense or offensive teams, I think she might have a good spot just because she can take some damage, and putting him to sleep is a good control ability. Um, Deathbringer, I'm only bringing him up because there are a lot of heroes I can clone. For example, Evil Rabbit, because I've one of the biggest topics that my guild has had lately is how do you deal with that rabbit? And to be perfectly honest, I don't have the answer. But what I can tell you is that I think he does put out a spawn, so Deathbringer wouldn't be a bad idea to get rid of said spawn. I'm just not sure how good of a tank he is at Red Plus 2. I eventually plan on getting him there. We'll see what happens. Now that Frost Mage can also eat up clones, you may not even need Deathbringer for this, but I'm just mainly talking about tanks here. Um, Ancient Protector, I actually like. I think he has a lot of potential. He's just kind of like on the back burner right now. But I think he has potential just because he does have healing, but that's not why you use him. In the very beginning, he can stop like three people in their tracks. And then when he ultimates, he's basically just in the background doing lots of damage. But I don't know how solid he's going to be in this meta. But I do kind of like him. And that's really about it, really. I can't really think of any like tanks that I would recommend. Fiend Slayer, I don't think is a tank. I think he's just a frontline fighter, but let me double check. Yeah, he's an agile hero. Okay, so he's more of a damage dealer. He's not really much of a tank. I've never used Fiend Slayer, but I've heard good things about him. I just haven't pushed him yet because again, I'm focusing on one or two heroes at a time, trying to get a specific team together that I'm not going to mention for the next guild tournament, just to see if my former guildmate has a good theory or not. So we're gonna find out, and he does give out good advice because he did help us out a lot when he was in our guild. So shout outs to him. You know who you are if you're watching this video. Um, I just not gotta say nothing in case his guild would get upset or whatever. But yeah, those are the tanks that I would currently recommend for this meta. None of the healing ones are the ones that depend highly on healing. Yes, I do use Death Mage, but that's or Death Knight, excuse me, but that's mainly because he's really the only tank I have that's red 2 other than Turtle Fighter. And, if my opponent's not running a Divine Knight, then he still gets the job done. So, assuming that your opponent doesn't run my homie Divine Knight, uh, if you want to run a good healing tank, I think Death Knight's probably your best. That's just my opinion. I might be wrong, but I don't think that Cleric is good enough. I think Cleric is good, but not good enough. I've always been a huge fan of Soul Hunter, but I still think Death Knight is better. Um, and that's probably it as far as the frontline tanking healers that I would even consider. The only reason that I like Cleric is that Cleric works well with Turtle Fire. That was a combo that I actually came up with myself. When basically you put Turtle Fighter behind them, and then Claric's constantly healing them, and of course as Claric's healing Turtle Fighter, Turtle Fighter gets more defense, and he stays alive longer to distract them while the rest of your team decimates them. So if you're gonna run Cleric, it would be in combination with Turtle Fighter, which I may do. Once again, assuming that my opponent's not running Divine Knight. Um, but that would be the only reason they're running Cleric. Soul Hunter, I like him, but I don't know. As far as healing, I don't know. So, but there you go. Those are my tank ideas. Let's do another arena fight and see if we can do something awesome here. And I'm not going to probably do much as far as Grand Arena in these videos, just because honestly, I don't have enough heroes, good team ideas yet for it to be good. Once I get at least what I consider two solid teams, then I might start doing, some Grand Arena advice. But right now, I rarely even fight in Grand Arena, to be honest. And the only time I really do fight is on the rare instance that someone knocks me down enough ranks to where I'm getting less 30 per hour. Then, yeah, then I'll actually like push to go back up there. But it doesn't happen very often. It really doesn't. Um, so, let's see who we can fight here. So this person's running Death Knight, Dwarf Warrior, Turtle Fighter, really a lot of good tanks. Rose Fencer and then Puppet Master. This is an actually really solid team. I don't really know if I can win this particular fight. I mean, yes, the power overall is only 68 that K, but I don't. I think I mentioned this in a previous video. Don't let those numbers fool you. Just because the number is higher than yours or even lower than yours does not mean that you either stand a chance or have an easy win. Those are very misleading numbers. I'll tell you that right now. Um, it's good to gauge where your team is at, as far as if you've been pushing them, as far as the heroes camp. But other than that, I mean, only use those numbers as a benchmark for how much better your team is compared to what it was, not compared to everybody else. So I see the 68K, and it doesn't tell me it's going to be an easy fight. It just tells me that they've been really trying to do something with this team. Um, a lot of tanking here. I don't know if I can win this. I mean, I can prevent the healing maybe because they don't have sorceress, so they're not going to be pushing my people back. But they are running dwarf warrior, which kind of does the same thing. So maybe I should not run to fight this guy. And this person is running a series of heroes that I just will not be able to beat. I can just tell you right now. Um, hmm. I don't know. Maybe I should just grow a pair and fight this guy. What do you guys think? You think I should do it? Yeah, let's do it. Alright, so you see that he has both Turtle Fighter and Rose Fencer. So we're probably going to get rid of these two females because Dwarf Warrior is going to be pushing our people back. That means my females are not going to be useful at all. So instead, we're probably going to do Ninja Assassin and maybe even Griffin. Either no, actually no, because Turtle Fighter makes Griffin awkward. So it's probably going to be Fallen Dominion instead. So I think that's what we're going to do here. Um, it's sad. I don't even want Griffin anymore. Oh, screw it. I'm running Griffin. I don't care. He's going to get a little bit of face time today. This is probably not the smart play, but I don't care right now. This is for entertainment value anyway. Alright, so thankfully we prevented some healing right there. Hopefully Ninja Assassin takes out Puppet Master. But it's like Griffin's actually not been too distracted. That's good news. The question is, can I deal them enough damage in time? Oh, looks like I might. Holy crap. Oh, there goes Ninja Assassin, but I think the damage is already done. We might have this. And there you go. Looks like we did it. Congrats. And Griffin got some face time and dealt some good damage, over 100k. I was really scared that their Turtle Fighter was just going to distract the crap out of Griffin, because that does happen sometimes. I want to say it's a matter of the team structure and a little bit of RNG, but a lot of times Turtle Fighter really messes with Griffin as far as like where he does his abilities. But this time Griffin was actually staying the course. He was like, "No, I am not a loser. You will not bench me." And so thank you, Griffin, for putting me in my place. So Griffin, Ninja Assassin, and Puppet Master all did over 100k. They put in their work. Death Knight pretty much just kept my people from dying, and of course Divine Knight was keeping their people from healing. So really good setup, and their team again wasn't bad at all. Like I said, Dwarf War really good tank. Death Knight would have been really good had I not ran Divine Knight. Of course, Rose Fencer and Puppet Master dealt a ton of damage. I mean, that's what they do. So there you have it. So it looks like we actually did a little bit better today. All right. Should I keep going? Yeah, I should keep going. All right. So shout outs to this guy in the middle, INCFVCK. He actually was briefly in our guild, and I say briefly because this was back when we had a merge. We've had about three merges now in our guild, and he was a part of the second merge, if I'm not mistaken. But he didn't stay long because we're not really like the super duper let's be number one guild. We're more of a casual guild that still does stamina, but we're not like pushing everybody as often. I don't like to put a lot of pressure on people, so he quickly left to join a more aggressive guild. And shout outs to him. I have no problem with that, and he's doing really good because of it. You know what I mean? So I'll be honest with you. A lot of people that used to be in our guild are actually in these top guilds, specifically INC. So it's all good. But yeah, let's see what he's running though. Mm, yeah, I'm not gonna win that. I'm sorry. With Tarot Prophet and Evil Rabbit, like I haven't figured out the formula yet. These guys just kick my butt with the current heroes that I have. Now, if I were to push other heroes to red 2, I might stand a little bit of a chance, but I've been doing some practicing in the background. I don't think you've seen a lot of my losses. Some of those have been doing some testing. I do that as well. I don't mind losing for the sake of learning. I mean, honestly, I think that's a good life lesson. Sometimes you have to lose or make a mistake to truly understand it and do better in the future. A loss isn't just a loss. A loss is a win in the future. Keep that in mind. This guy right here is running both Soul Hunter and Divine Knight, so I should be able to win this one. Because that's two healers that are potentially be useless, assuming that RNG doesn't like hurt, and then my Divine Knight doesn't too distracted by Turtle Fighter. But we'll see what happens. He is running Tarot Prophet, which is going to be kind of annoying, and then Sorceress as well. But hopefully we can deal with that. So seeing what we're up against, we have no. We can use Phenos now because we don't have to deal with a Rose Fencer. But Sorceress and Turtle Fighter are going to keep me kind of squished here. But we'll see what we can do. Basically, this means that I cannot run Vengeance Spirit, but I can run Sorceress. I'm actually going to take out Griffin for Sorceress this time. He's not running Puppet Master, so I'm not worried about my backline being decimated in an instant. I think this is the team to use, so let's try it. And this is part of why I want to get Deathbringer up, because if I put Deathbringer at red 2, then I can switch out Death Knight for Deathbringer, and then suck up those, clones. But that's going to be a different video. Alright, so unfortunately, Divine Knight used his ability mostly on Turtle Fighter, which is not good. And let's see what happens here. So, Sorceress, unfortunately, just lost a lot of energy. There you go, do your ultimate. I think their Turtle Fighter just died, and now we're starting to do some damage here. Now we're going to win. It just took a while to get started, but we got this. And there you have it. Turtle Fighter did make things a little awkward, but we made it. Looks like both Sorceress and Puppet Master dealt their 200k. Ninja Assassin actually did less damage than Divine Knight. That was a really awkward fight for him. I think the main reason that Ninja Assassin wasn't going off as early is because he wasn't being aggroed as much. When you're fighting against a real defensive team, it takes a while for Ninja Assassin to get started. So, I mean, Sorceress was really the main one dealing him damage to begin with. Let's see if we want to actually do any more. Um, let's see. I don't know. The fact that I'm in top 200 makes me kind of want to just stop, to be honest. I don't want to get too aggressive and then people start hitting me even harder than they normally would. But I am looking at what heroes are running just in case. I've seen people in the top use like the wrong team. Look at that. People actually have the Hatso hero already start up. Like, that's nuts. So apparently, this new hero, the one we just mentioned, Wind Priest, apparently has some potential in Arena. People are already using him, and you saw the fight that I lost in. I think I showed that fight. Yeah, I did. So there you have it. Whoops. Not trying to cancel. I'm not trying to end the video yet. Trying to see if there's anything else I kind of want to bring up. Actually, I did bring up the whole world record thing. Or did I actually do that? I don't know if I actually did that. But if I didn't show you earlier, I did get a record in damage. I think I did it in the last video, and that's when it collapsed. So I'm going to show it again. Basically, in this one, the dragon fight for the boss and guild raid, I basically finally ranked in the top 10, and I didn't even know this happened until I got a Facebook message. There he is, me at number 10 right there. 6.1 million, running Fallen Dominion, Cloudwalker, Ninja, Assassin, Puppet Master, and Divine Knight. I plan on trying this again maybe in the future. Again, I didn't even know that I even had this record until someone put it on our Facebook page. I actually took a screenshot of that and tagged me in it and then put it on the devotion group. So that was a good morale boost for us. But let's see if we can find a good fight. I'm not going to do that. Let's see. That's a boss fight. We're not going to do a boss fight. That's another boss. Oh, no, that's not a boss fight yet. I think we still have some. Yeah. Alright, so the reason I'm actually doing this right now, I kind of wanted to educate people on what strats to use against certain enemies. Alright, so it's always good when you see these dragon guys to read them. So this one protects from all physical. This one isn't immune to magic. This one protects from physical. So as you can tell, the majority of them have protection from physical. So you want to use mostly magic dealers. That doesn't mean that you should completely take out any physical damage dealer you have. Don't let that fool you. There are still other people that can take other types of damage. So I do want to focus on the magic damage, but use some physical heroes. So for example, I'm going to use let's take out Cloudwalker for Sorceress so that she can deal some damage. And I'm thinking about taking out Fallen Dominion for Vengeance Spear. I'm not sure this is the right play, but we're going to try it. If not, then the choice would have been Fallen Dominion. But I'll have two chances to try this, and we'll compare the numbers. And feel free to kind of test the numbers too. I'm keeping it on times 4 because we don't really need to see that in that slow mo. Um, and I'll be able to kind of tell you what happens at the end here. So Ninja Assassin is doing his damage just to the backline hero, which is the whole point. Sorcerers actually ended up dying apparently. But yeah, Ninja Assassin's really getting in there though. So 3.2 million, which is not a whole lot. Ninja Assassin MVP'd it up. Looks like both Sorceress and Vengeance Spirit didn't do a whole lot of damage, really. Same with Puppet Master, which is a little disappointing. So I may need to kind of change this up a bit. And of course, Divine Knight. He deals 500k typically, give or take 200k, but he's mainly there too for the boost, because he does boost everybody's damage. Something that people overlook. It's also why a certain other hero is good too, but I'll mention him later. He's one of those axe game guys. So what I'm going to do here is we're going to take out Sorceress for Cloudwalker, and then Vengeance Spirit for Fallen Dominion. But by the way, just so everybody knows, here, let me just take out Fallen Dominion real quick. This guy, Tusk Storm, he's good too. If you don't have Divine Knight, so if you want someone that can boost your team's offense, he's pretty good too. But right now he's only red I think he's just red. I don't think he's red +1 at all. So it'll be a while before I push him because I got too many other heroes to use. Onward, Fallen Dominion. Let's see if this is a better team in this scenario. And that's kind of what I do. I actually study these. I look and see how much damage output everybody's doing, what good team combinations are. Is I do want to actually, get as many MVPs as I can in the future. More for just personal accomplishment. I mean, whether other people recognize it or not is not that important. But Fortune Ninja Assassin died pretty quick, but Sorceress is gone, or Death Mage is gone. So he did his part. And ooh, look at that. Got the Guild 2 items. So, Guild, if you're actually watching this, which you will because I'll be posting on the Facebook page, you got two pretty good items to collect here if you haven't already subscribed to one. 1 point. Oh, crap. I didn't even look at the stats. But I think we actually dealt less damage. I think it was 1.4 million, if I'm not mistaken. I completely forgot to look at the numbers. I feel bad. Sorry, guys. And you can't even go back either, I don't think, which is pretty bad. Um, and then, by the way, on chapter 19, our guild is slowly but surely actually getting up there. We've actually never completed it yet. We only have a few people right now who actually are high enough to deal with it, but they're actually trying. We got 5 people who are actively participating in it right now. So, we'll see what happens. So, shout out to these guys and female, because there's one female on there too. So, guys and girls, thank you for the help here. But right now, yeah, we're moving on up right now. And I don't think I've actually fought this team yet. A good thing to do too, if you're wanting to know how to deal good damage, is to tap on the ranking, like I showed you earlier, and it'll tell you the teams that people are using to deal the most damage. Um, which I actually can almost match the top person. I'm only missing like 2 people. Um, but what you can do is, if you notice that the first place person has 3 people that you have maxed, look at the next 2 or 3. If they have other heroes that you have maxed, like for example, they have a Vengeance Spirit, you can use Vengeance Spirit in place of one of the others that you don't have that's maxed. So that could be my number 4, and then my number 5 could be, if I just wanted to go based off of that theory, would be, yeah. So I could do Sorceress, Vengeance Spirit, Cloudwalker, Ninja Assassin, Turtle Fighter, and see what happens. So let's do that. So Cloudwalker, Ninja Assassin, Turtle Fighter, Vengeance Spirit, Sorceress. Now this might not work, by the way, but we're gonna try it. The biggest challenge here is me remembering. Um, I think this is the team. I think so. So we'll try this team and see what happens. I probably will be making some adjustments here, but you know, we'll just see what happens. Now I do just let it autoplay. I'm a little lazy. I don't like to actually take the time to mess with it, but this doesn't seem like a good team though, for me at least. But again, I just kind of play with different ideas and see what happens. So on 1.5 million, Vengeance Spirit actually was kind of the MVP there. What I would probably do is, I don't think Turtle Fighter really lasted long enough. So what I would do is do what I would do, my version. So instead of, let's see, we'll do, take out those 2, put in Death Knight to keep my people alive because I actually want to deal damage. Puppet Master, and I do want Divine. You know what? We'll just do this, just to keep them from gaining life and give myself a boost here. So let's see what happens. And yes, I know I'm running low on time. We have enough time, I promise. It's like I planned this or something. Oh, that was actually a worse fight. Okay, lesson learned. You need Turtle Fighter. Okay. That was horrible. Okay. Well, there you have it. And this is what I do. I actually test out different ideas. I mean, I do look at the rankings too, but you're not always going to have the creatures that they have, so, or the heroes they have. So, try to mix and match the best way you can. Look at what's been doing well for you in the past and just kind of go from there. But all right, well, it's about time to end the video. I'm actually almost at that 40-minute mark anyway. So hopefully this was educational and maybe somewhat entertaining for you guys. So yeah, next week we'll see what else the next session will be. You guys take it easy and happy Fatterday Saturday.